Hello tennis guys and tennis ladies, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be comparing the legendary Pure Aero Rafa with the legendary, because now this racket is becoming legendary too, Pure Aero VS 2020, and this comparison is a celebration of pure tennis. And as you know, the Pure Aero VS 2020 is endorsed by Carlos Alcaraz, and the Pure Aero Rafa obviously is endorsed by Rafa Nadal. And these two rivals, this, let's say, old gen and the next gen, the young gen, they met in the Madrid Open 2022. Recently they played a great match, and it was a clash of the titans, I would say, I would call it. And Alcaraz showed his tremendous talent, discipline, and physical fitness, and great hunger, and he was relentless, he was brave, and he showed us that there might be a really next gen player. And I loved the tournament. The whole tournament was phenomenal. And you know, this comparison is kind of a celebration of new gen, next gen. And you know, these two rackets, they are kind of different, because Alcaraz and Rafa, they seems to have very many things in common, but in terms of the overall style of play, they are kind of different players, as these two rackets are too. So this will be a great tennis racket comparison, guys, so stay tuned.
I mean, with Djokovic, Rafa in the good matches is very amazing match from my side. So yeah, for me it's amazing.
So guys, before I start with the comparison, let me tell you something about the VS, because people seem to be confused about the name of the racket. What does it stand for, the VS? There are rumors that the VS stands for Victory Superior or something like that, and that's completely wrong, because there is a long history behind this. So I will tell you the story about the VS, because it started actually in 1875 when the Babolat was established and they began making strings. So guys, Babolat is a very old company. It might be actually the oldest tennis company, maybe. I'm not sure how old is Wilson, for example, but Babolat is definitely one of the oldest tennis companies. And the VS was used for their best version of natural gut strings. And this shortcut, or this name, the VS, it was first used in 1925, and it happened like this. So Babolat was developing strings, natural gut, obviously strings, and each of their version was named by a code, by 2 letters. So let's say when they started with the production, they called, let's say, the first version natural gut AB. Then they came with CD. They then came with another shortcut. And they tried different versions of the gut, and finally in 1925 they came up with their best version. So they called the version VS because it was the code name. The code name was VS. After that, they used the VS shortcut for their other products, for their superior products like tennis balls and nowadays also tennis rackets. So we have the Pure Drive. I think it was released firstly in Pure Drive VS in 2019. Then came in 2020 the Pure Aero VS, and today the newest edition is the Pure Strike VS. So the whole family of tennis rackets now has their VS versions, and these are the best possible versions of their tennis racket. So guys, a long history behind the VS. So and now let's jump to the comparison itself, and you will be very surprised how different these rackets are. So the Pure Aero Rafa has 100-inch head size, 645 square centimeters, obviously nice big sweet spot. The sweet spot is really big and can generate lots of spin. So that's the main, let's say, main plus of this racket. It's a spin racket. On the other hand, the Pure Aero VS has a smaller head, 98 inches, 632 square centimeters. So smaller head, obviously more precision, more control over the shot. There is nothing, let's say, special about it. When we come to weight, obviously unstrung weight, so the Pure Aero Rafa is a 300-gram frame and the Pure Aero VS is a 305-gram frame. So what does it mean? So the Pure Aero Rafa seems to be a little bit easier to control on the first spot, but is it true? Actually not, because when we jump to balance, there is the difference. So the balance for the Pure Aero Rafa is 320 millimeters. For the Pure Aero VS is 315. So the Pure Aero VS is balanced more to the hand. So you gain more control over the racket, and it is, again, it is completely okay. It is normal. For heavier frames, you get the balance more to the hand, so you can control the mass easier. And there is the difference. It translates to a different swing weight. So the Pure Aero Rafa has more swing weight at 327, which is kind of a lot for a 300-gram frame. On the other hand, the VS has only 321, so you will control the VS much better, or let's say better than the Rafa racket. And I want to remind you that these rackets, the players endorse these rackets, but obviously they play with a different setup, with a different weight. So don't get into the talk like, hey, Rafa doesn't use this racket. Carlos Alcaraz doesn't play with this racket. We all know that, but they are endorsing these rackets. And I'm comparing rackets we can buy. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Why should I compare pro stock rackets if you can't buy them? So these comparison videos are all about comparing real products we can buy, we can use, and we can have fun with. So the swing weight, as you can see, VS, easier control over the strokes because it's a more control-oriented racket. And on the other hand, there is a more, let's say, mass, let's say more power in the Pure Aero Rafa, and more, maybe more flow through also. So yeah, the Pure Aero Rafa is a more spin-oriented machine with loads of free power. When we come to the stiffness, to the flex, this is very similar. The Pure Aero Rafa official stiffness, according to Babolat, is 71 RA. According to for the VS version, it is 70, so just one point less, not a big deal. But I'm actually kind of surprised because the beam width is pretty different. The next number behind the slash is 67 RA for both rackets. It was measured by Tennis Warehouse. So in real life, maybe the rackets are not that stiff, but as we know, all Babolat rackets like the Pure Drive are one of the stiffer or the most stiff rackets on the market. So some people don't like the stiffness, but I played with the Pure Drive like 15-20 years and no problem for me, for my hand at all. The beam width, there is a big difference actually. So the Pure Aero RAFA 23, 26, 23. So 23 in the upper hoop, 26 millimeters in the center of the head, 23 millimeters in the throat. On the other hand, the frame, the VS frame, is much thinner. So 21, just 21 on the upper hoop, 23 in the middle section of the head, and 22 in the throat. So actually the VS should be much more flexible, so I'm surprised it has a so high RA, but maybe in real life or the real feel it will be a little bit, let's say, more flexible. You will feel it a little bit different. And with a more control oriented rackets, it is like this. The frame is thinner because it should be more flexible to control the racket better, to have the ball to stay this ball should stay on the strings much longer, to control it much better. On the other hand, the Pure Aero RAFA is pure power, so the contact time is shorter, and that's why it generates so much power. So both rackets, they should be very, very stable. And as we know, when Rafa goes to the net, he is unstoppable on the net. So he's one of the best players actually on net. But he visits the net very occasionally actually, and I'm surprised by that because his stats on net are phenomenal. He has like 95% of success when he goes on the net, so he's a great volleying guy. When we go for the string pattern, there is difference. 16x19 for the Rafa racket, so once again trampoline effect, easy spin, massive spin, easy sweet spot, nice feel. So the strings are more flexible and they generate more power. But on the other hand, the control and the precision is not that good. On the other hand, the VS version has one extra cross string, and this one extra cross string can make the strings more control oriented. There are 16 long strings, so the spin potential is really there, is once again very high, but with the extra cross string you gain more control and more stiff, let's say stiffer reaction of the string bed, so you control the ball a little bit more. So when the ball hits the strings, there are more contact points, so you control the ball a little bit better. The composition is 100% graphite. So if you look at the specs, they really show us that these rackets are really different. And when we look at the technologies, they are the same. So guys, AERO Modular 3, great aerodynamics for both rackets, one of the best aerodynamics you can find on a tennis racket actually. So both rackets feel really fast, but the VS will be definitely, due to the thinner frame, will be faster when you swing with it. The FSE spin technology for the best possible spin. And then we have the Cortex Pure Feel. I think the Cortex Pure Feel is made by SMAC company, which is a company, I believe it's a French company that makes materials for space shuttles. So a really experienced company. Then there is the carbon ply stabilizer. Sorry, I forgot to tell you what does the Pure Feel do. So the Pure Feel, actually, it's an extra layer of material that is inserted between the graphite, and it dampens the high frequency vibrations that are harmful for your hand, and through the frame there goes only the vibrations that are not that harmful to your hand, but you will still have great feel for the racket. And also this translates into really nice sound of the racket, nice deep sound. And there we have the carbon ply stabilizer. So it's made by, I'm not sure how the company is called, but once again, it's a French company that is developing some materials for the automobile industry and other industries, I believe also for space industry. And this material is in the throat of the racket, and it makes both rackets very, very stable. And finally, we have the woofer system. So the woofer system is a legendary system made by Babolat, and it was firstly introduced in 1999, I believe. And this system is in the grommets, let's say, and it helps the strings move more freely with more energy, so the ball stays on the string bed a little bit longer, and you control the ball a little bit better, and it gives the ball also more energy and more spin. So all the technologies Babolat uses in these rackets are top-notch, are the best of the best in the industry, and I believe that's why these rackets are also so popular. We just can't forget about technology. So as Yonex has great technologies, Babolat has also great technologies. So guys, if we look at the rackets, at the design of the rackets, so obviously Pure Aero, little bit bigger head, you can see it on the first side. And if you look at the VS, the head is smaller, is shorter, and that's why the throat is a little bit longer. Also the throat section close to the handle for the VS version seems to be a little bit sharper in the section where both parts of the throat meet and connect to the handle. And the racket should be really little bit more flexible. If I should recommend these two rackets and compare them with the style of play, so imagine Rafa playing with the Pure Aero Rafa, massive spin, lots of energy, great, I would say great depth control over the ball. He plays, he has his phenomenal swing. He kind of drags the ball a little bit, let's say, longer, and that's why he creates that massive spin. And I believe the Pure Aero Rafa is essentially really for I would call them for baseliners, but for baseliners who can dictate the tempo, who can dictate the speed of the game. But I would not call them attackers or something like that, not at all. On the other hand, Pure Aero VS is for guys or for people who tend to attack much more, who play a more straightforward tennis. And if you look at how Alcaraz plays, so he plays kind of similar to Rafa, but he's more aggressive. He plays more straightforward. He doesn't have that huge topspin, but his balls are much faster because the head is smaller, the balls fly more straightforward. He swings more through the ball. He doesn't go with the head that high behind his head, but he swings more through the ball. He can attack the ball in a much more aggressive way, and he controls the ball really nicely. One of the great things of Alcaraz's game style or play is his serve. His second serve has phenomenal kick. Djokovic was talking about it, and other players were mentioning it, that the kick serve from Alcaraz is just phenomenal. And once again, the kick serve is so good also because the frame is a little bit heavier, and in the end it can really help you to create the final speed with the final move. So the kick serve is really complicated. It's an advanced technique. Not everyone can achieve it or everyone understands how it works, but the little bit heavier racket with a smaller head size and overall let's say more faster let's say plow through and faster swing can create really great kick serve, because when you have the bigger head size it can actually become kind of unstable when you try to hit a kick serve. So yeah, these are the things that make these two rackets different. So if you are on a more attacking style of play, but still you want the, let's say, Rafa feel, but you want to attack more, you want to be more aggressive, you want to play shots, more flatter shots, definitely choose the Pure Aero VS. On the other hand, if you are on the same, let's say, the technique like Rafa, you really enjoy a massive spin, you probably play all court tennis, but most of the time you stay behind the baseline and you just want to demolish your opponent with 20, 30 shots over the net, and you depend, let's say, on endurance and on raw power rather than let's say precision and faster strokes, faster attacks, then choose the Pure Aero Rafa. So guys, as you can see, these rackets are really different. I would say that the Pure Aero VS is a mix of Pure Aero of the standard version and the Pure Strike. So these are kind of mixed rackets into the one racket. So I think it will become these days bestseller because of the popularity of Carlos Alcaraz. So guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think about these two rackets? What do you think about the VS version? Does it make sense, or is it just let's say a gimmick, or is it just marketing? What do you think about these rackets? Because I am starting to like the VS version really much. The specs are, let's say, very playable for, I believe, many players out there for today's modern style of play, where you need to really have every shot in your house. So you need to be really aggressive, and you also need to play great defense, drop shots, serve and volleys, etc. And I feel like the VS is a perfect racket for this style of play. So guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think about these two rackets? And if you liked my video, obviously click the thumbs up button. I will highly appreciate it. If you didn't like my video for any reason, just click the thumbs down and write me a comment why you didn't like the video. I need to know it. I need to get better and better. And if you like my videos a lot, just buy me a coffee. Oh, I just finished my cup of coffee, so I will highly appreciate it if you buy me a coffee. Yeah, the link is in the description below. And as always, guys, the Rome tournament is there. The clay season is here. My favorite part of the tennis season, because I play on clay and I love it. I love it. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for commenting. I read all of your comments. They are great. You have great ideas. And as usual, enjoy tennis in TV, enjoy tennis personally on the court, and enjoy it every time and every day. And I will catch you in my future video. Bye, guys.
I had a great family always, next to me in the good and especially in the low moments. That without them, I will not be here.